my darlings, and welcome back to another Greeting Card Thursday. So this week's subject was actually a request from Twitter. A few days ago I tweeted to see if anyone had any requests for this week's video, and Twitter user, I think it was Shubzard, at Shubzard, she requested someone from Uzma Kappa. Now, Uzma Kappa is a fictional sorority. I mean, it may be a real sorority too. I don't know. All I know is that it is a fictional sorority in the movie Monsters University. Now, you need to know, Monsters University is my favorite Pixar movie. And I like it so much that I would even put it in my top Disney movies of all time. I really like it a lot. So, I could not resist. And also, I got a lot of really good requests, so I feel like there's, some to work on for next time. But, feel free to keep an eye on my Twitter for the next time I do request for the Greeting Card Thursday, because I don't super often ask, but I really do want to do something that you guys want to see. Something that's within the realm of something I knew I could do in about an hour. That's how long approximately these videos I aim for, about an hour. Anything longer than that, and it's kind of hard to do a video about it because it's just too long and complicated. And for the Greeting Card Thursdays, I try to keep them simple enough, but still interesting, if that makes sense. My favorite character from the Uzma Kappa sorority is Squishy, aka Scott Squibbles. He's just my favorite. I love him. Although, I love all the members of Uzma Kappa. We've got Squishy and Mike Wazowski, of course, and James P. Sullivan, aka Sully. And then there's Art. I love Art. And then there's the two-headed monster, Terry and Terry. One with an I and one with a Y. And then, I don't know if I said Don Carlton already. But of course, Don Carlton, mature student. I just love Monsters University. And you know what? Not too many other people. I think a lot of people like it, but it's definitely not their favorite. For whatever reason. And I totally understand, because really there's so many wonderful Pixar and Disney movies that could be your favorite, so I totally get that. But for me, I don't know. It's my absolute favorite. Okay, so Squishy. I took a little look at a picture of him before this. He has 5 eyes and 3 eyebrows. I made a little note to myself in my head about that. 5 eyes, 3 eyebrows. I love Squishy because, like, he's so cute. But then also, he's a little bit terrifying. I think he surprises everybody with how great at being a scarer he is. When he wants to be scary, he's super scary. So right now I'm just doing the sketch, and as always, pretty much every video we've done, I've used my blue non-photo Prismacolor to do my sketch. Why do I do this? I just do. I prefer to starting with a regular pencil because I find it doesn't smudge as much. And you know what? On so many levels, it really just is habit. Okay, so he should have the Uzma Kappa insignia, his sweater, and the O has little horns on it. And let's see. Okay. Like this. And I think it has like little spikes or something on it. I might be wrong about that. That might not be right. I think it's right. Like I said, I took a look at the reference before I started, but I don't necessarily have a photographic memory. I can only remember it as well as I can. Alright, so 3 eyebrows. And then Squishy's got like this hat, his Uzma Kappa hat. Like this. And he's got his one little horn here. Yeah, little horn. And I want to make sure I'm really making Squishy as chubby as he is in the movie, because his chubbiness is what makes him so cute. It's what makes me like him so much. And little teeth. Yeah. What a cutie. Okay, and this should be like the brim of the hat right in here. And then the hat should come around the back like that. Approximately. And then he has like, this should be the top of his head. Then he has this like tuft of hair. And that's the hat there. Okay, let's just render in. I don't think he has any fingers. Like, I don't think he has digits. I think he's kind of got these like little paw hands, essentially. If I'm remembering right. I hope so. I'll have him kind of looking this way with his many eyes. There we go. It's pretty much all we need for the sketch. Everything else will be coloring, I think. Okay, so today we're going to be doing like mixed media, which is what we usually like to do here. I'm just going to erase this little part, because that's actually kind of where the white of the eye is going to be. I don't want it to get messy. Okay. You know, you'd be surprised how easy this blue Prismacolor writing pencil works. Okay, so let's just take a look here. I'm thinking it would be in our best interest to start with Squishy's skin, because he's so light. His skin is so light in color. Okay. He's like this really fleshy pink color, and it doesn't have a ton of texture. He's so cute. So I'm gonna just lay in kind of one color for now for all the parts of his skin that's showing. I'm just realizing right now that it's kind of weird that none of the monsters wear pants. But I guess it's kind of like the classic Donald Duck scenario, which is that Donald Duck does not wear pants, but he wears a towel when he gets out of the shower. Why is that? We'll never know. Although I don't really think any of the monsters really wear pants. I mean, a lot of them don't wear clothes at all. It's not like they really need them, right? Mike doesn't wear any clothes except for a hat sometimes. And Sully sometimes wears a sweater, but not consistently. And Don Carlton always has his shirt on. I don't think we ever see him without it. I love Don. He's such a sweet character. I mean, really, I love all of the Uzma Kappa members, like you said. It's funny, too, when I got this request, I also had a thought. I was like, like I could also see myself drawing one of the PNK. I know it stands for something. I can't remember. But you know, the pink girls. They all kind of look the same. Because I really liked them in the movie. But Uzma Kappa is definitely my favorite, so. Gotta go with the old classic. Alright. So just laid in some pink in there. And I'm gonna do some blush on his cheeks. Very lightly, I guess. Just trying to blend it in a little bit. And a little deeper of a color right in the middle there. And on this cheek. So, I think if you will permit me, I'd like to talk about why Monsters U is, like I said before, my favorite Pixar movie. And definitely one of my favorite Disney movies. I like Monsters Inc. a lot as well. I really like the message of Monsters Inc. I really like what it's all about, which is that it's about a lot of things, but to me, Monsters Inc. is a lot about how fear, is not as powerful as laughter, and that there's more than one way to do something, and that we should always be, looking for that new way to do something, not always staying with the status quo. And I think that theme is even more clear in Monsters University. And I think that's why I love it so much. Because really, like, the very extremely clear theme of Monsters University is that there's more than one way to do something. You just have to keep trying. And I really related to that because I feel like in everything that I do or have done, I haven't necessarily gone about it in a conventional way. And especially when they talk about it in the context of a school setting, I really related to that as well. I don't want to spoil the movie in case you haven't seen it, so I won't tell you the ending. But the ending of the movie is what made me love it so much. I just really, really related to it as a story, and I really love the contrast of Mike Wazowski having such a clear vision of how he was going to do something, and he still, gets to his goal, but it's in an unconventional way. So what I've been doing here is just adding some shading with the mauve pencil crayon. It's all still very light at this point. And down here on his little leggies. I also really love Squishy's mom in the movie. She is so great and so supportive. And all of the Uzma Kappa frat, I think I said sorority earlier in the video when I meant to say fraternity, and that's totally my bad. In Canada, fraternities and sororities aren't really as big of a thing. I will say they do exist, but they are not the same as they are in the States. They're not to the same extent. I only know maybe 2 or 3 people who are Canadian who were in a sorority, two friends I went to school with. But it is not as big as a cultural thing here. For whatever reason. I don't really know why, but, it's just cultural. And, they're not really as big of a thing here, so it's not something that I really know much about or have a lot of experience with. I know that they're not quite like they are in this movie, but it's a cartoon, so what can you expect, Okay, I think that's good for that one. I know I'm going to add in some more shading too, but I'm just not quite there yet. I kind of need to add more color in before I know super clearly kind of how I want to go about it. Oh gosh, is the lead gonna come out? No, we can still work with this. Do you guys ever do that? I only need it for the letters, so it doesn't have to be super secure in here. There we go. Okay, so need to sharpen this. Oh, I knew it. I knew that lead was gonna break on me. I could feel it. You know how you can just tell? It's funny, because of doing these greeting card Thursdays. Oh, it broke again. Sorry. Because of doing these greeting card Thursdays, it's been getting me into doing more like colored pencil or pencil crayon pieces, because the thing is, I really love using pencil crayon. Oh, is this lead gonna break again? Doesn't feel secure, but I feel like I can work it. Okay. Because of doing these, I'm more like, I've been using the pencil crayons more, and I remember how much I like them, and so I've been using them more like outside of these videos too. Which is a good thing for me, I think. This lead always seems to break. That's the fun part about working with colored pencils. You sometimes have to deal with that. Especially with soft-leaded pencil crayons. I find that if you at any point like accidentally dropped them, they might have a couple shatters in the lead, which is very annoying. Oh well. So I'm just filling in the sweater with a light green on the body, and then I'm gonna do it up in the arm here. I've put some folds in where the fabric should crease, but I'm gonna add more detail after. And his hat should be green too. And the brim. It's interesting, like I've never been to Disney, so this may not be apt, but from what I've seen online, there isn't a ton ton of merchandise from Monsters University at Disneyland or Disney World in America. But Monsters University seems to be very popular for merchandise in Disney Japan. They have a lot more Monsters University merch there that I've seen. Which is just kind of interesting. It's obviously, it sells better there for whatever reason. And I'm curious as to why. But whenever I see the Monsters U merchandise from Disney Japan, I just swoon because there's so much cute stuff. Stuff with squishy and art. Everybody. Especially, like, I've seen a lot of merchandise depicting kind of, do you know that scene where the gang is kind of sparkly and they have flowers and stuffed animals? I've seen a lot of merchandise depicting the characters as those versions of themselves. And that's so cute, isn't it? Okay, we need to give him his little brown tuft of hair. Like I said, I'm kind of just laying in some color right now, just to get us started. I always come back and add a lot more later. Okay, and need to give him like little tongue and use this darker red. There. And I think his eyes are blue. If they're not, they're gonna be blue on this. That's how we roll, right, guys? Okay, so now that we've got kind of all the basic colors here, I'm gonna take this and this, and maybe this. These are all Tombow acid-free markers, and they have brush tips. And you guys have seen me use these a billion times before. I really like them. They're very cheap. They cost like under $2 each. They're really great. I would recommend them to all artists. Even if you're completely new to art, you're not wasting any money. They're not very expensive. So I'm gonna start adding in detail and outline and all kinds of stuff with these. I'm more comfortable with them, so I like using them. And, I'll probably go back and forth between a couple. Use the gray here. And like you can kind of tell, it's not super dark gray. It's just got a little bit to it. And I really like it for this reason. little cheeks there. His little teeth. Let me know if you feel like it in the comments what your favorite Pixar movie is. I'm interested to know. And what you thought about Monsters University. I won't be mad if you don't like it, don't worry. A lot of people I've talked to didn't really like it, but I loved it. And everybody has their preferences, you know? That's all right. We all like different things. And I think with movies especially, it's so based on like your life experiences, what kind of movies that you'll like the best. Do you know what I mean? On some level, I don't even know that it's like necessarily a matter of taste. I think it's got a lot to do with what sort of experiences you've had in life. So, we've all got different stuff going on. Oh, so right now I'm using this Pilot high-tech V5 grip pen, and it's just a pen for writing actually. But I like it for drawing stuff too. When I was in high school, I was like super into pen and ink drawings. I preferred that to basically anything else. And I mostly used a ballpoint pen, if you can imagine. I would do whole pieces in just ballpoint pen. Which, like, looking back on it now, I'm like, how did I do that? I don't know that I have that kind of patience anymore. I would want to add color, I think. Stubborn that way. This little sleeve in here. I'm trying to decide if I want to like go super in depth and do all the cable kind of pattern in the sweater, or if it might look better, simpler. I'm not sure just yet. I'm sure I'll figure it out as we go. That's how these things tend to work out. So we've finally gotten some spring weather in Toronto. And I think, honestly, winter fought tooth and nail to stay. Because it's like so late in the game, you know. Although I will say, my sister lives in Newfoundland. And there was a day last week where it was like 20 degrees here. And she got 3 feet of snow in April. So when I told her what the temperature was, she was not a happy camper. Oh well. So I'll just use the purple in here. It's for the legs. It's kind of dark though. Maybe I can blend it out. don't know that I love the purple, but it's too late now. It's in marker, you can't erase it. Oh well. Apparently my solution is to add more purple. That's how my brain works. It's totally reasonable, right? Actually, I kind of like it better now that I'm adding purple to everything, so I'll just pretend I did that on purpose. Right? You guys won't tell. We're good friends. You wouldn't do that to me. Just in there. Cool. And like this. Yeah. Okay. Now the eyes, I think. Oh, I want to do a little outline around Squishy's little horn here. His little leg. Okay. This is the part where I'm gonna get a little quiet. Just warning you. I tend to do that. Trying to make them all the same size, approximately. That looks about right. And let's use that purple again, just to kind of, did I get it on my arm? No, we're okay. Just to do a little bit of this. Around the eyes. No matter what, like, eyes are never perfectly white. Even if you had a ring light in front of somebody, like, their eyes wouldn't look perfectly white in it. There's always shading because your eyelid kind of casts a little shading depending on where you are, you know? And similarly, and I've mentioned this in previous videos, and this is kind of more for photography, I suppose, but a lot of times if you don't show a shine of light on your subject's eye, like there should be a reflection of a light in their eye, because if we can see them, that means there's a light source, right? So a lot of times, if you can't see a light source reflected in somebody's eye, it ends up looking really spooky, because that is what gives someone the look of life, is having a little light reflection in their eye. And a lot of photographers use that to their advantage. If they're trying to make someone look a little spooky, or trying to set the mood, or that sort of thing. And you can use that in your work too. You don't realize it until you see it, that it's kind of off-putting to see someone without any little reflection of light in their eye. My pen is not working as well as I'd like. little bit of shading, I think. And a little bit more. I think I actually might do the details in the sweater. Just because I think it might be fun. All about that unnecessary details, huh guys? That's my lifestyle. How can I make it harder for myself? That's who I am as a person. I think this needs a little bit more black though. Usually I kind of prefer not to use black as an outline, but I feel like this one just kind of needs it. I don't know why. It's just what my gut's telling me. You have to follow your gut. It leads you to all the best things. Like cheesecake. Okay, what am I gonna use to do this? I'm thinking, let's try this. What if we try the slime recollections? Oh yeah, okay, this is what we're gonna do. So I'm gonna do a little cheating. Although I don't know if that's even really fair to say. But I'm going to give myself some very light guidelines with this, just so I kind of know what's happening. Let's assume the armhole is right there. And we'll do this. And then I'm just making all these lines approximately the same width apart, just so that the spacing is proper. Otherwise, it might look a little funny. This, and I'm just trying to follow the curves of his body too. Okay. Because if you remember, Squishy's mom, who's awesome, she helps them make all of their okay stuff. All of their little shirts and sweatbands. I love Uzma Kappa. I want a little Uzma Kappa shirt. I don't know if they even make them. Or maybe I should get a pink shirt. Not the color, but the sorority. I'd probably be in that one. Or maybe Uzma Kappa. Who knows? I really loved all of the designs for all of the different sororities and fraternities. Like, they were all so different. The design that went into them is really great. Really, like, they all had very clear identifiers. And I'm just doing them upside down on this arm because the arm's pointing up. So, the pattern should be facing the other way, right? Line in there. Yeah, I'm really glad that I decided to do this because I think it really just adds that extra something, that extra pop. Who was I talking to yesterday? Somebody, one of my friends. And they said to me, we were talking about our And they were like, you always make things way more difficult for yourself than you need to. And they didn't mean it in a bad way. Just that I create work for myself. But I don't know. I like all the extra stuff. It's fun to do, and in my opinion, it really shows in the final product. To make this look knitted, I'm essentially just doing kind of slightly off shapen hearts. And it ends up making it look knitted. I used to knit a lot when I was a little girl. We had all these programs in school that if you didn't want to go outside for recess, you could stay in and learn to knit. There's like a knitters club. And we would make blankets to help people in our community who needed them. And I would always do that a lot. Especially if I didn't feel like going outside, which was a lot of the time. But mostly because I was really crafty. I loved to knit, and my mom had taught me how. And growing up, my mom taught me how to sew and taught me how to knit, all of these things. And I loved it. I was very crafty. I always wanted to do crafts and art. Those were my favorite things to do as a little girl. So yeah, we used to knit during recess. It was good fun. Now I'm using the same type of pen, but in teal instead. Just to do these little details. And I'm just doing a kind of squiggle for this part. Like this. Boop, boop, squiggle, squiggle, squiggle. And on the bottom here. These pens are very cheap too. They're just from Michael's. They're like $1 something each. Or even cheaper if you're like me and you use a coupon. Which I would highly recommend. I don't think I ever buy anything full price there. And I think that's pretty common. I think most people are like that too. Let's do Squishy's little hand here. He needs his little hand so he can shake it on the dance floor. Oh, I almost forgot. I should outline the Usman Kappa insignia here. Because it kind of gets lost in the shading, doesn't it? Yeah, that looks way better. And the O. Cool. Okay. Just pull some of this down here. Why am I outlining in green? It's what I had in my hand. There's no rhyme or reason. Sometimes I just do stuff. hat. It's a very special Uzma cap hat. There we go. And I think that's pretty good for Squishy. Maybe we'll add a little bit of something special around him. We're okay. And let's sign it. And that's it. Scott Squishy Squibbles from Disney's Monsters University. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you next time on Greeting Card Thursday.